Why are we here? We live in a world where most people are unhappy. Most people are unfulfilled, unsatisfied with their lives. Mental health, anxiety, suicidal thoughts are at the highest they've ever been. Now, how does that happen when we're supposedly at the pinnacle of human evolution? The future looks very bleak if you listen to most. Why is that? It's clear to see why so many are struggling. They're struggling because they think the future looks bleak. People are devoid of good diets, of sunlight, of good exercise, of balanced lives where they actually get the opportunity to invest in making their lives and those around them better. For most people, life is simply a rat race these days, constantly trying as their absolute most just to stay afloat. And that's not by accident. This system has been built completely by design, and it's certainly not built for the benefit of humans. So I'd be more concerned if people felt at home in this system. And if more people felt at home, and the majority certainly felt at home, then our chances of bringing it down and making any change would seem very bleak. But the fact that so many people are struggling, the fact that so many people are unhappy and starting to ask questions, I see as a positive, because it means that they're not satisfied with the world, therefore they will be very receptive to wanting it to change. Politics, which is meant to be the answer if you talk to many people, that's offered no change. When's politics really ever changed anything? It's time for us to go outside the system. It's time for us to make these institutions that don't work for us, the likes of the medical system, the likes of the pharmaceutical system, the likes of the education system. It's time to make them completely obsolete and redundant by simply creating alternatives that are run by humans for the benefit of humans, rather than for the benefit of large multinational corporations and banking cults, which is what the mainstream everything seems to do. I'm really looking forward to getting into tonight's conversation with Laura. I think you're going to find it very inspiring, so let's get straight into it.
The Black Land was once known as Kemet. Today we know this place as Egypt. Words, numbers, signs and symbols are the safe haven of the truths that global cult may have spent thousands of years struggling to suppress. The serpent seeks to suppress its foe, afraid of the humans that fully know. Through parables and pictorials, our true ancient ancestors hid spiritual lessons. These are parables that religion has sought to make literal, thus losing its message along the way. The message appears to be concerned with our higher human potential. Did we once communicate with the trees, the animals, and beings from other dimensions? Is the Tower of Babel a fable about the shutting down of our natural telepathic ability, one that still exists in the whispers of our common sense? The coincident theorists will cry that the book of Genesis only happens to sound like the book of genetics, a knowledge known centuries before Crick and Watson claimed to have found the double helix. Is the double helix really symbolised by the Anunnaki brothers Enki and Enlil? In Sanskrit, Anu means atom or molecule, and in the Kannada glossary, Naki means a deity or a god. Do the stories of the Anunnaki hide within them the story of our great, innate human potential? Scientists call the human DNA they cannot understand junk DNA. But is this a protein language yet to be decoded? And once it is, will this password unlock our advanced human potential? Are these blue bloods hiding the sacred word, the password, the lost word of God?
Entitled narcissistic bath dodgers are back at it. Yet another Just Stop Oil man-child clambered for attention this week by disrupting the World Snooker Championship in Sheffield. The wailing buffoon threw orange powder up in the air to, save the planet. Notice that none of these people actually do anything to improve the environment. Climbing on a table on national television and chucking paint at priceless pieces of artwork is far more proactive than, planting trees. And I know what you're thinking. If they're after attention, why are you giving it to them? And you'd be right, fair point. But my issue is the blatant double standards by those that are meant to uphold the law. While people were protesting peacefully for their freedoms during lockdowns, they were physically attacked by the police on a regular basis. Now contrast that with the way the law allows these climate mobs to cause havoc, commit acts of criminal damage, block roads to major London hospitals without a single truncheon in sight. These bankrolled scruff bags are doing the cult's bidding. That's why they're allowed to do it. Net zero is part of the 1% script, and so this gaggle of crusty pound shop suffragettes are unwittingly playing their part. The clueless mob are now targeting SUVs for criminal damage. Well, my SUV identifies as a push bike, so jog on. No one needs a vehicle that big, they claim, unless of course you've got a disabled child and you need the room to accommodate wheelchairs and other medical equipment. Do you ever think that? People might need their vehicle in a moment of emergency, to get to casualty, to get to work, to put food in the bellies of their kids. Of course not. Because those with narcissistic personality disorder only care about their own sense of self-importance. It's why they're so easy to manipulate. They're too far up their own backsides, too arrogant to accept the reality that they're being played.
Anyone who wants the evidence that wokery is mind control need look no further than a pair of prats this week at the Snooker World Championship in Sheffield, England. I know all about that because I used to presented it for years in the 1980s for the BBC. And it's still going on. It's still very popular. And so, because it's got an audience, the Eco Insane, I've targeted it this week and put orange powder all over the snooker table to stop play. Here's the headline: Eco Zealots cancel the snooker. World Championship game is postponed after Just Stop Oil protester jumped on table during match and tossed orange paint over it, while it seemed more like powder, while fans jeered and shouted, "Get him off." A Just Stop Oil protester, actually there was two. He managed to get the orange powder on. Then there was a lady on the other table. It's two tables at the time. And she got stopped. She wanted to glue herself to the pocket or something. And she was stopped. But the other guy did what he did. And this is a guy called Edred Whittingham, a 25-year-old politics, philosophy, and economics student at Exeter University. He's got a very rich daddy, like all these people have. They've all got posh bloody voices, haven't they? And rich parents. So the question, why on earth would you link human-caused climate change, that's not happening, to a snooker match? The only thing I saw was they said, we're snookered if we don't do something about climate change. I think that's the best they could bloody come up with.